stimulus spending plan? Let's ask Congressman Joe Sestak, Democrat from Pennsylvania. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us.
Good to be here, Stuart.
You know, earlier today we were reporting that there was a lot of strong talk about another stimulus package, that in fact a stimulus plan was being planned as we speak. Earlier today, we heard that maybe there's a pullback from that we're not going to get a second stimulus plan. Can you tell us where we stand?
I hope that the talk begins again about having another stimulus plan, and here's why. We knew when we gave the bill, the economic stimulus bill, from the House to the Senate, that we got back a B-minus bill instead of the A-minus we gave them. In fact, if you look at the modeling, you can see that at the end of 2010, instead of 3 million more Americans having jobs, only 2.1 million more Americans will have jobs, 900,000 more will be laid off. So we need to address it by another stimulus bill. And I believe, as Nancy Pelosi said, also, she wants the economists to keep talking about this, because the Senate took out 1/8 of the kick when they put in the AMT tax of $80 billion. We have to recover from that.
I take your point, Congressman, but you know there's a downside to this. I'm not talking about Wall Street, I'm not talking about the economy, I'm talking about the deficit. Because if you go out there and spend some more money, you're going to push that deficit well above $2 trillion. The Chinese are saying they're not maybe going to support us and lend us the money. I mean, you know, you have some serious problems when you've got a deficit at 15% of the economy and you're about to raise it.
You know, that is an absolute key point. So you need to sit back and say, but Stuart, what if we don't do anything? If we had not passed this stimulus bill, it was by modeling, not ideology, not thought and belief, but by modeling, shows that by 2015 we might have come back to 2007 GDP levels with over a $20 trillion debt. If this works, with a little slight additional stimulus bill of about $250 billion, we will hit, by the beginning of 2011, 2007 GDP. It's either pay a bit now or pay exponentially a lot more later. One other example.
I've got to ask you, what exactly would this new, you're putting a number on it of $250 billion, okay. What would that money be spent on that it was not spent on in Stimulus 1?
Absolutely. Two key parts. When the Senate took out money that was going to go to the states and local governments to put in this AMT tax relief, which we forgive anyway and was already expected, what we need to do is address the issue that the states are now going to be, over the next 2 years, $300 billion in deficit. And our original stimulus bill now only does half of that. So let's put in $75 to $100 billion on that. Second, we know that this stimulus bill in the first year is for direct payments to individuals so they get the consumer spending again. The expansion of our economy begins at the end and the beginning of next year as the construction costs start kicking in. What we need to do, therefore, is have a payroll tax relief of about a quarter, where employer and employee have immediate payback. And all of a sudden, businesses begin hiring a bit because it's not as expensive. And just as the economy is starting to kick off, those are the key components I believe need to be in.
All right, Congressman Joe Sestak, Democrat, Pennsylvania, we thank you very much indeed. We got some news from you. I know you won a second stimulus. $250 billion is the number you use. Congressman, thanks a lot.